Live. This is Information Security Now. Information Security Now is a live stream about cyber hacking, software, technology, various items in the technology space related to primarily hacking and cybersecurity. Today, there was a pretty significant breach regarding this item called NPM, and we will speak about the breach. So this is from hackread.com. NPM packages with 2 billion weekly downloads hacked in major attack. Aikido security flagged it. 18 packages like Chalk, Debug, and ANSI styles hacked to hijack crypto wallets via injected code. This is quite a significant breach, and it's very interesting in the sense of I've heard about these hacks, but it'll be interesting to read what goes on. So the timing of the detection was quick and limited damage. Charles Erickson was the lead researcher. The purpose of the injected malware was designed to interfere with cryptocurrency transactions in the browser. It hooks into MetaMask, Phantom, and other wallet APIs, altering transaction data before users sign. Shows the correct recipient, but the funds are redirected to addresses controlled by the attacker. Recognizes Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, Tron, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, then rewrites them with a convincing lookalike address. It operates at the browser and API level. It can make fraudulent transfers appear legitimate. So that's a full stack hack. It appears at the browser and the API. Includes Chalk, Debug, ANSI styles, and these are huge download numbers: 300 million, 358 million, 371 million. Projects, low-level utilities, is RA-ish, strip ANSI. Many developers use these, part of the foundation of everyday JavaScript applications. One individual received a phishing email from support at npmgs.help. He lost access to his account. The code is highly intrusive, modifying functions like fetch, XML, HTTP request, and wallet API methods. Alters transaction payloads, approvals, and even Solana's signing flow, redirecting assets without the user's knowledge. This means a developer who updated one of the packages could be exposing users to wallet hijacking as they interact with Web3 applications. Let's find another one. Hijacked common JavaScript package. Large-scale supply chain attack. Reputable developer was compromised. That was it. The NPM account of a reputable developer was compromised. And the affected packages were downloaded 1 billion times. Wow. So it was a single individual who got hacked through a phishing email, and then once they got hacked, it looks like the users took their account and uploaded malicious code to those NPM packages. That just goes to show you the people who are developing your code matter. They matter significantly. Understanding who they are. I mean, people love Bitcoin and it's open source, but there are a few people that really take it, have a huge part in how they code it up. And it's important to understand that, yeah, the algorithm and the consensus method are very unique and very effective in what they do. But with that stated, it's still a software, it's still a technology, and it can only go so far just being a technology and just being a software. So this is from Crypto News. Swiss crypto platform Swissborg hit by $41.5 million Solana hack after partner API compromise. Hackers compromised their API provider Kiln, devastating series of cyber attacks. Around 192,000 Sol tokens were stolen from Swissborg's Sol earning program, affecting less than 1% of users. The platform allocated its Sol treasury to cover most user losses while engaging white hat hackers for funding recovery efforts. Affected users will be compensated for the majority of their losses. Earlier today, cascade of security failures today. Nemo protocol on the SUI blockchain suffered a $2.4 million exploit, crashed its value from 6.3 to 1.57 million. Nemo's yield trading mechanism, which splits staked assets into principal tokens. Peck Shield alert detected the breach as hackers swiftly moved stolen USDC via Circle by bridging from Arbitrum to Ethereum. Withdrawals exceeded 3.8 million of USDC and SUI tokens. Then Nemo halted all smart contract operations. And the NPM supply chain attack threatened the entire ecosystem. Don't write, and if you're into crypto, don't do any crypto transactions today. Hacker compromised the NPM account of respected developer, publishing malicious versions of 18 popular JavaScript packages. Receive over 2 billion weekly downloads. Crypto Clipper malware intercepts browser functions to hijack crypto transactions by replacing recipient addresses with attacker-controlled wallets. Strip ANSI, color convert, and error X buried deep within dependency trees. That's crazy. Levenstein distance algorithms to execute the large-scale attack. When addresses are detected, the system replaces them with attacker addresses across Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. NPM swiftly removed compromised packages, but transitive dependencies and tools like Babel and ESLint create persistent risk. Let's Google what's Babel, what's JavaScript Babel, and ESLint. Distinct complementary tools used in JavaScript convert JavaScript code into an older backward compatible version. That's Babel. ESLint is a static code analysis tool for JavaScript, helps identify and report problematic patterns. Massive disruption today in the crypto industry. Control vulnerabilities include misconfigured wallets and compromised legacy keys. This is, I know people don't like the government and they tout the virtues of Bitcoin, but right here, the NPM attack is particularly disturbing as it represents large-scale supply chain compromises. That's true. And it's important to consider that finances, there's a reason the government controls the finances. And at the end of the day, one of the big reasons is to guard the population from looting bandits. And it's very difficult for the government to do that, for any government to do that with cryptocurrency. It's very difficult, almost impossible. And in that case, how do you proceed forward? Give me one moment. How do you proceed forward? You don't. You need to be on chain. The government needs to be on chain. And that's the big thing here. And hopefully, we've seen that with stable coins that they aren't securities. It was pretty obvious they weren't securities. It's a currency. You can use blockchain to act as a security system. Sure, that's for sure. You can do that. The issue is that crypto, Ethereum, ETH, Sol, Bitcoin, those are not securities. Those are currencies. Those are stores of value. They directly compete with the US dollar as stores of value. Now, cryptocurrency systems can be used to distributed ledger systems can be used to tokenize securities. That's for sure. But Bitcoin as we know it, ETH as we know it, Sol as we know it, Doge, the coins as we know them, those are not securities. Those are currencies. Like the US dollar is a currency. Like a stable coin is a currency. Can you use a distributed ledger to tokenize securities for companies, for real estate, which is partially what Zayik is planning to do in the next couple of years, which is one of my startups? Yes, you can, but that's not what's going on. Most people, unless there are some instances of that, you have, what do you call it? Tokenized real estate. And I think that soon the way that the NASDAQ is traded is going to be on NASDAQ, NYSE is all going to be on blockchain, and they're going to have their own blockchain system. Excuse me, this thing. Yes, but as far as Bitcoin being a security, that's obviously not the case. It's a currency. It's a poor currency because it's difficult to transact on, but it's a currency. And then also, as we see what's going on here, crypto isn't, there's no insurance on crypto. So, you have FDIC insurance, and this is why stable coins, and when you get into customers who really aren't willing to risk their reserves, you realize how important insurance is, FDIC insurance is. And that's why the government needs to roll out stable coins using very trusted providers. I mean, they can't, unfortunately, for the government to do this, I think they do definitely need private industry to help them, but they need a few providers, and it's difficult because it's difficult. It's difficult to imagine how this works out, but there's a reason that you have government, and it's to guard you from looting bandits. And those are things like these NPM injections, where yes, you can have a lot of your currency stolen from you. And one of the beautiful things about pre-post hacks, and I believe this has happened before with major hacks, where you can do rollbacks, that the government needs a rollback system. The government really needs a rollback system. And so, in case there is a hack, and they need their own ability to handle insurance, and I know we all, like many people in the crypto industry, tout the lack of need for a government, possibly some sort of anarchy system, but there are issues that come to place with cryptocurrency. You are in a vulnerable place. There's a reason to have your value and your net worth and your reserves in a government backed security, currency, whatever they may be. I'm gonna Google something. Is real estate a security, and if not, what is it? The substance, not the form of an offering, matters. Even if transaction is structured as a real estate purchase with the management agreement, it can still be security. Okay, this is saying, I don't really understand. Okay, so no, real estate isn't a security. But let's continue. Hackers just pulled off what some are calling the largest software supply chain attack in history. Breach hit core JavaScript libraries like Chalk, Strip ANSI, and Color Convert. So foundational, they're practically digital plumbing. Wow. That is a funny analogy. These libraries are downloaded billions of times every single week, quietly running everything inside from web apps to developer tools. Attackers compromised the NPM account of a well known developer, slipped malicious code into these libraries, and shipped them straight into the global software bloodstream. This man, this writer, Jason Jones, has quite the analogies: bloodstream and digital plumbing. I love it. If you've ever copied a wallet address, pasted it into a field, and hit send, this is your nightmare scenario. The code hijacks the destination address, and unless you manually double check on a hardware wallet, your funds are gone. And this is written on Brave New Coin. Massive supply chain attack is underway. NPM account of highly reputable developer has been compromised. Malicious versions have been published for dozens of high impact packages. Chalk, strip ANSI, color convert, is core module. Over 1 billion downloads. Sophisticated crypto clipper hijacks network requests to swap wallet addresses and directly intercepts wallet transactions to steal funds. Audit your dependencies, NPM CI, and your build pipelines. Pin all affected packages. Why does this matter? Crypto users, if you rely on software wallets, you're exposed. Hardware wallets that force you to physically confirm every transaction remain the gold standard for security. Didn't just compromise apps built by careless coders. It poisoned libraries. Yeah, that's crazy. That's really interesting. This last point. For the open source ecosystem, NPM is basically the app store of the JavaScript world. It's also a single point of failure. A lone compromised developer account just weaponized code that billions of people indirectly trust. That's a really good point and a really interesting I that's a great point. All right, we'll continue. Okay, we'll go back to Jaguar. So we spoke about this the last few times. Jaguar Land Rover had a very extensive cybersecurity attack that stopped operations and halted operations, and UK factories are expected to remain closed until at least Wednesday, just over a week ago. That's huge for the company in a bad way. Unable to operate since the company fell victim. Slovakia, China, India, car plants at Halewood, Solihull, and Wolverhampton engine facility. This is the JLR shut down its IT systems in response to an attack on 31st of August to protect them from damage, but it's been a major disruption. To restart its networks in a controlled and safe manner. This is another world for car manufacturing, and I think few car manufacturers are having some issues with the new world of cars where these are the biggest computers on the face. I mean, they're not the biggest, but these are computers. These are huge computers. These are items that have a lot of embedded software. You look at Tesla and what it's capable of, the new Model Y, it has a full digital twin user interface, touch system user digital twin user interface. It's incredible. It's the gold standard for embedded systems right now. The Tesla Model Y, at least what I saw. I would love to drive one and check it out, but it's a great product supposedly. Edmunds, I believe, said it was the best drive they've had in the last year. And based off of how I saw the configurations, that was a digital twin that with capability embedded. And I thought that was a really great item. Really great. Okay, we'll continue. 10,000. Okay, so here's, okay, we'll go back to JLR. Car maker owned by India's Tata Motors. Not commented. Builds about 1,000 cars in normal capacity. A group of young hackers who have been behind other attacks on UK businesses have claimed the responsibility. It's very distressing, I think, for people when these young individuals have so much power. And you're this titan of industry, and somehow this group of teenagers and people in their young 20s is very, very effective at hacking. Here in Axios, Chinese cyber spies impersonated the chair of the House China Select Committee in emails to people involved in U.S.-China trade policy negotiations. Fraudulent emails, wide range of individuals, U.S. government agencies, businesses, and law firms, as well as think tanks. Phishing attempt after a Wall Street Journal broke the news story. Sent emails purportedly from Representative Molinar from Michigan to key leaders ahead of a meeting between U.S. and Chinese officials in Sweden. The attached document, which was sent from non-governmental email address, was instead laced with spyware that would infect a victim's computer. Both FBI and Capitol Police are investigating the emails. Ukrainian cyber offensive hit Russian fuel and telecom networks. So this is real, and this is where cyber combines with espionage and war. We've been speaking about NPM, and that's thievery. You don't know, there's Lazarus in North Korea, which have very extensive and successful hacks against the cryptocurrency industry. You have, so we've been speaking about these. You have Jaguar Land Rover, which just had their IT systems hacked supposedly by a group of young hackers. And in that case, it's against a private corporation. But here in an active war setting, we're going to speak about Ukraine-Russia. And Ukraine-Russia has some of the most extensive cyber warfare between the two. And it was about 10, 15 years leading up to the current war in Ukraine and Russia. And then you think about drones and the perpetuation of drone warfare in this war. Incredible. It might be because we're in the age of social media where things we're in a hyper networking age. And this is one of the most, we saw what happened Iran-Israel, and in the age of hyper networking, war is not always, but it seems like you're right there. So we'll continue. Ukraine's defense intelligence carried out a large-scale operation against Russia, disrupted fuel payments, telecom infrastructure, and online resources. Massive DDoS attacking, targeting the Russia's network infrastructure, disabled advanced payment systems, which manages Rospatrol fuel cards. Ukrainian cyber forces struck the infrastructure of Russian telecom operator, K-Corp. More than 700 switches and 13 servers in 2 data centers were taken offline. Deliberately targeted because it provides telecom services to Russian defense giant Kalashnikov concern. Okay, we'll continue. Boris Johnson. This is from SAN, Straight Arrow News. Hackers. Boris Johnson got hacked. Partygate. Leaked computer. Unprecedented glimpse into scandal over COVID-19 protocols. And private views on world leaders. Found documents pitching a reality TV show. Portrait of the former politician's day-to-day activities from 2019 to 2020. Nonprofit leak archiver DDoS eCrits. Quietly posted the data online last year. Wow, that's crazy. Little is known about the details surrounding the breach. Serious exposure of information in the hands of a world leader. Devastating compromise. Wow. Carried out with Pegasus. Pegasus is one of the most powerful softwares in the world. A folder titled Travel underscores the hack's intrusiveness. Johnson's passport and driver's license, as well as his visa information for Australia, Canada, Kurdistan, Saudi Arabia, and the US. Identifying documents for family and staff. That's a lot. This has itineraries in 2023. Visit Egypt, 2022. A folder called Speeches, a folder called Travel, a folder called Diary with schedules marked as sensitive and confidential, and one that says Security Briefing, Nuclear. Another one that says Telephone Call with President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Folder titled Notebooks. This is a lot of information. That's a lot of information. Folder titled Notebook with the warnings. Wow. Many sensitive information. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder. So this states they don't know how it occurred. Interesting. And we'll end it with this. Hackers claim 10,000 Anchorage Health Center patient records hacked and leaked. 10,000 patient records, addresses, social security numbers, driver's licenses, and insurance information were leaked. Actively investigating the ANHC Director of Comms. Please avoid engaging with or amplifying unsolicited messages for those who may be affected. Hackers had contacted one individual with her sensitive information. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Take care. Hopefully, everyone doesn't do any crypto transactions anytime soon because you may be affected. And have a great week ahead of you.